4. Your core financial values. E-quadrant values. I am looking for a safe, secure job with good pay and excellent benefits. For someone living in the E-quadrant, the core value is security. You might be the top earning vice president of a company yet still share the same core values as the company's janitor, who earns a tenth of your salary. A person in the E-quadrant, regardless if he is the janitor or the president, often thinks or says words such as, I am looking for a safe, secure job with benefits, or, how much do we get for overtime, or, how many paid holidays do we have? When I'm having a conversation with someone in the E-quadrant and I talk about how much I love starting my own businesses, he may say, yeah, but isn't that risky? We each see life from our own core values. What is exciting for me is frightening to someone else. This is why, when I'm in the company of people who live in the E and S quadrants, I usually talk about the weather, sports, or what is on television. S quadrant values. If you want something done right, do it yourself. For people in the S quadrant, the core value is independence. They want the freedom to do what they want. When a person says, I'm going to quit my job and go out on my own, the path taken is from the E quadrant to the S quadrant. People found in the S quadrant are small business owners, mom and pop businesses, specialists, and consultants. For example, I have a friend who installs big screen televisions, phone systems, and security systems in rich people's homes. He has a staff of 3 and is happy to be the boss of just 3 people. He is a hardcore, hard-working commission salespeople, such as real estate agents and insurance brokers, are in the S quadrant. The S quadrant is also filled with professional people, such as doctors, lawyers, and accountants who do not belong to a large medical, legal, or accounting firm. People living in the S quadrant often take great pride in the work of their own hands or brains. If they had a theme song, it would be either, Nobody Does It Better or My Way, yet, behind the facade of independence, you will often find a lack of trust at the core of this person's approach to business, which also means his approach to life, because how we view our business tends to be how we view everything. An S is often paid by commission or by the amount of time spent on a job. For example, an S may be heard saying words such as, my commission is 6% of the total purchase price, or, I charge $100 an hour, or, my fee is cost plus 10%. Whenever I meet someone from the E or S quadrant who is having difficulty making the transition to the B quadrant, I usually see a person with great technical or management skills but little leadership ability. My rich dad used to say, if you're the leader of the team and you're also the smartest person on the team, your team is in trouble. People in the S quadrant often don't work too well with teams. They may even have a bit of an ego problem. 20 To make the jump from S to B quadrant, what is needed is a quantum jump, not in technical skills, but in leadership skills. As I've said many times before, in the real world, the A students often go to work for the C students and the B students work for the government. If you've ever heard yourself saying, if you want something done right, do it yourself, or if you tend to think that way, it might be a good time to take a good long look at that philosophy. B quadrant values. I'm looking for the best people to join my team. For people in the B quadrant, the core value is wealth building. People who start from nothing and build great B quadrant businesses are often people with powerful life missions, who value a great team and efficient teamwork and want to serve and work with as many people as possible. While a person in the S quadrant wants to be the best in his or her field, a B quadrant person wants to build a team out of other people who are the best in their fields. Henry Ford surrounded himself with people smarter than he was. While an S quadrant businessperson is often the smartest or most talented person in the room, this is often not true for a B quadrant businessperson. When you own a B quadrant business, you will often deal with people who are much smarter, more experienced, and more capable than you are. My rich dad had no formal education, but I watched him deal with bankers, lawyers, accountants, investment advisors, and experts, many of whom had advanced degrees. In raising money for his businesses, he often dealt with people who were far richer than he was. If he had lived by the motto, if you want something done right, do it yourself, he would have ended up a complete failure. When it comes to being paid, a true B quadrant person can leave his or her business and still get paid. In most cases, if someone in the S quadrant stops working, the income stops also. Therefore, a question you may want to ask yourself now is, if I stop working today, how much income continues to come in? If your income stops in 6 months or less, then, chances are, you are in the E or S quadrants. A person in the B or I quadrants can stop working for years and the money will continue to come in. I quadrant values. What's my return on investment? What people in the I quadrant value most is financial freedom. The investor loves the idea of his money working instead of him working. Investors invest in many things. They may invest in gold coins, real estate, businesses, or paper assets such as stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. If your income comes from company or government retirement plans, rather than your own personal investing knowledge, then that is income from the E21. Chapter 4, Your Core Financial Values Quadrant. In other words, your boss or the business is still paying its bill for your years of service. Words an investor might be heard saying are, I'm receiving a 20% return on my assets, or, show me the company's financials, or, how much deferred maintenance is on the property. Different quadrants, different investors in today's world. We all need to be investors. However, our school systems do not teach us much about investing. Oh, I know that some schools teach stock picking, but to me, that is not investing, that's gambling. Years ago, my rich dad pointed out to me that most employees invest in mutual funds or savings. He also said, just because you're successful in one quadrant, such as the E, S, or B, does not mean you will be successful in the I quadrant. Doctors are often the worst investors. My rich dad also pointed out to me that different quadrants invest in different ways. For example, a person in the S quadrant might be heard saying, I don't. If you want to get rich, you're going to have to move. You don't need a new job, you need a new address. Invest in real estate because I don't want to fix toilets. A person in the B quadrant addressing the same investment challenge might say, I want to hire a good property management company to fix my toilets at night. In other words, an S quadrant investor will think he has to do the property maintenance on his own, and a B quadrant investor will hire another company to do the property maintenance for him. Different people, different mindsets, different quadrants, different values. By now, you've probably figured out where I'm going with this. It comes down to a pretty simple thing. If you want to get rich, you're going to have to move. You don't need a new job, you need a new address. If you want control over your life and destiny, if you want real freedom to call your shots, set your schedule, spend time with your family and with yourself, doing the things you love to do. If you want to live the life you were designed to live, no holds barred. A life of passion and excitement and fulfillment. In short, if you want to be rich and live rich, then it's time to pack up your stuff and move. It's time to leave the left side of the chart and move over to the B and I quadrants. 20